Hello, it is draft night here at RealTime Fantasy Sports, everybody. I'm joined by the great Howard Bender for this Beat Bender Best Ball live stream. Howard, thanks so much for coming on with me again.
Oh, thank you. No, you're saving me, man, because listen, I have to do these drafts and try and host them at the same time and giving people a little bit of an advantage. So, you know what? This is the first Beat Howard Bender best ball draft that you and I are live streaming on. So I finally got a partner here. I'm coming for you, folks.
I'm excited for it too. I've not watched one of these yet. I don't even know. I'm not even sure if I watched one last year. If we did a live stream, but it's a little different format. If you're not familiar, it's a best ball championship, overall championship. So it's a big tournament. You can win $10,000 if you take down the entire thing, or if you just win your league, you can win money there as well. So there's individual league prizes also, and there's an overall component, and it's tight end premium. So Howard's the tight end whisperer. We like to call him that. You get 1.5 points per reception from the tight end, so it makes it a little different. That's why I'm kind of excited to see how this plays out. If you want to get in one of these leagues, go to RTSports.com, click on that money league link, and you can see all the different offerings we have on there. But you can definitely sign up for one of these Beat Bender Best Ball championships as well. It's a great contest. It's $20 to sign up, so you can win your league and win money there, or you can try to win the whole thing for not a whole lot of money. So it's a great little contest. The draft has actually already started. Howard has made his pick. I'm going to pull up the draft board for everybody to see there. It's 10 teams. I'll set the scene for everybody there. Fantasy Prosecutor, I guess, is the first pick. Then Fozzie Dog, our friend Fozzie Dog, and then Jason Brown, and then Dogman. Then Howard, he picked fifth. And then Colonel Forbin, and then CGU. I don't know. Hopefully, nothing means anything too bad because I'm not familiar with that.
No. Colonel Forbin is a character in the fish tale of Gamehenge. So that's that Chris is definitely a fish head. He's one of my people.
I gotcha. And then Robert was picking after him. And then Roach Motel, and then Krish, who's always in a lot of our drafts as well that we do here. He's a good drafter. He drafted first overall in the last one, and this one he is drafting 10th overall. So he's dead last in the picks for this draft. And Howard, you picked fifth. You took Jonathan Taylor, so you maybe a little earlier ADP for him than he normally goes, but you went with Jonathan Taylor. Talk me through that.
Yeah, I mean, I've really gotten to the point here where it's a running back or bust for me, in some of these drafts, especially when I find myself kind of in the middle here with the fifth pick. So, I've started to chart a lot of ADP. We've done it over at Fantasy Alarm, just kind of looking at some of the trends in these large field best ball tournaments and where people are going, like, what's the ADP and, how many running backs versus wide receivers are coming off the board inside the first several rounds. And so one of the things that, we've kind of charted was, if they start off, how much of an impact is the year before's winner have on this? Like, one of the studies that we'll make here after this year is after Joe Jacoby turned around and said, invest in that last game, that week 17 Monday Night Football game, does the ADP climb on players from those teams because everybody wants a piece of it? We want to see how reactionary the drafts are now versus what the trends were last year and what kind of won. And one of the things that we've noticed here is that, you go running back because of the limited bell cow backs that are out there. But then there are a lot of people who sit there and stay at the running back position in best ball. So it gives you the opportunity to pivot to the wide receivers to get more value out of them there. And that's just kind of the trend and how it ended up going.
Howard, your pick's up right now. I will let everybody know what else was picked here this round. So after your Jonathan Taylor pick, it went JSN, Jackson Smith, Najigba, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian McCaffrey went ninth. And then Chris took Omarion Hampton, Justin Jefferson. That was his combo. And then we went James Cook, CeeDee Lamb, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, and you go Chase Brown. I wanted to ask you, though, before we get into your pick. So when you're doing these best ball championships for the Beat Bender, do the tight ends, they normally go in the first round, or where do they usually end up the high end ones? Are they first round picks sometimes, or is it normally second round?
I've seen Bowers creep into the first round at the very end, but no,
Okay.
usually like early to mid second round is where you see Bowers and McBride go. Then you start seeing like, Loveland in the third, or Tyler Warren in the fourth or fifth. So, people are pushing up the tight ends there a little bit. But one of the things that I've definitely seen and noticed is once you get past the top 7 tight ends, even in a tight end premium, right? Once you get past the top 7, there's no reason to bump them up any further. There really isn't. Tight end premium isn't going to help guys like Jake Ferguson or Juwan Johnson or Mark Andrews. Like, these guys aren't getting enough volume to really, enhance the production in a tight end premium. So once you get past the guys who are the top targets on their team, then I kind of just settle back and let everybody else take the middle tier, and then you go after like some of those late guys, right? Like an Okonkwo or a who's the other? Like a Greg Dulcich, guys who are going to get the targets late, but obviously there's still a little bit of uncertainty. So that's kind of the way the tight end landscape has gone so far in a number of these drafts.
Okay. You went Chase Brown. I actually just did a fantasy running back preview, and my pick for safest back was Chase Brown. I just feel like his floor is super sturdy, and I hate his competition in Cincinnati. I think he's going to get all the work. So you tell me why you're sold on Chase Brown as well, though.
Like you just said, all the work. I mean, sure, Samaje Perine will come in and like steal a little bit of like complimentary work, but for all intents and purposes, Zach Taylor likes going with one guy. He wants him to be able to catch passes. He wants him to be able to pass block, wants him to be able to take it between the tackles. And we've seen Chase Brown fill in on that, in that role. Ooh.
Your pick
Ooh.
now, Howard.
I'll tell you what, I'm just going to grab my AJ Brown here real quick, and then come back to throwing it down here as far as who were we just talking about?
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown. So, there's limited competition for touches. This is actually a team, everybody spends so much time focusing on the passing attack, right? Because it's Jamar Chase and it's Joe Burrow and it's T. Higgins, that they tend to forget that Zach Taylor just wants to really just wants to run the football, right? He uses the pass to help set up the run. But what he wants to do is he wants to have a lead in the second half and then just run the football. That's why Joe Mixon was just such a workhorse for them. And they kind of he wants to continue in that trend. So I think what we're going to see here this year also is that if Cincinnati has improved the defense and Joe Burrow doesn't have to play huck it, chuck it football in the second half to keep pace, well, then we're probably going to see some more running from Chase Brown just to kind of kill that clock.
So your AJ Brown pick will let me get on my rant here a little bit about training camp, because some of this stuff just drives me crazy though, with the people talking about AJ Brown and Drake May not having a chemistry. They've had like 2 practices, and then people dropping passes and people making catches without pads on, and quarterbacks who are making great throws not getting pressure at all. It's just, I mean, some of the stuff you can't ignore, but don't you think a lot of this is just way overblown? Some of this stuff, it's great to see the highlights and stuff, but man, some of this stuff just, it drives me a little crazy, especially when I see people commenting on it and making big fantasy bold predictions because of what they're seeing in training camp.
Well, that's always, listen, in all honesty, I mean, listen, I think the analysts who overblow it also are definitely at fault, and you
Yeah.
always need to be careful with who you're getting your fantasy advice from. But, for me, I I think it's way overblown. I remember Jamar Chase couldn't catch a football
Yeah,
because it didn't have stripes on it.
exactly.
Right? Justin Jefferson had a ton of drops in his rookie campaign, right? In training camp. So, every time you get big fantasy or when the herd starts crapping on a guy for whatever reason, I just like that because it enables me to get him at a discount.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like, you remember when Neighbors was when Jordan Renan said that Neighbors, he doesn't expect them, to be vintage wide receiver one until like week 5 or 6, and everybody was like, "What? Wait, he's not going to be available till week 5 or 6."
Yep.
Right? And once they jump onto a bad call or bad information like that, well, it makes it easier for me to explain to people to be like, "Don't worry about it. Trust me, just take the player, take the value that you're getting."
I agree. We're getting some breaking news here too, Howard. I don't know if you've seen it. My son just wrote me this great note here to let me know. But Debo Samuel to San Francisco.
He did sign. Oh, we were talking about that earlier. We were like, did they just go back to Debo Samuel with this? That means Ricky Pearsall's done for the season.
I agree. Yep, he's got to be.
Wow.
I
Wow.
guess that.
I'm just gonna text Coop right now.
There you go.
Considering that we just that we talked about that earlier. Debo to the Niners. He'll be so excited. He likes being right.
I'm interested to see what kind of role he ends up playing. I guess he could fit in the slot well. They have Mike Evans is there, and then Ricky Pearsall's done, and then Streebling, and uh, uh, I guess he's going to play a big role. Kind of intrigued by what he ends up doing, but Debo could fit in well. I don't see Christian Kirk. I wonder about his health too at this point if he's going to even make the roster, but. I guess Debo could come in there. It's a reunion. You're right. He knows the offense. Kind of intrigued by him. Be interesting to see where he goes in this draft.
Yeah, he's the easy play for Shanahan and company,
Yeah.
right? Get the guy who's got the familiarity with it, knows where to be. He's already got familiarity with Brock Purdy, because I think that they're with what's going on in San Francisco. There's a lot going on here. Christian McCaffrey. Remember last year. In the playoffs, he hurt his shoulder, right?
Mhm.
The workload's going to eventually get to Christian McCaffrey, and he is going to wear down. We know that. We've seen it with running backs. He's fantastic, absolutely, but you still have to be wary of it. Now you're probably losing Ricky Pearsall for the entire season. You don't really know. I mean, you grabbed Stribling, but who knows? He's kind of a
Yeah.
one-dimensional player. Christian Kirk is already hurt right now.
Yep.
So, George Kittle's recovering from the was it an Achilles that he was dealing with. So, I mean, you look at these Niners and they're all kind of banged up right now. This could be problematic, so you bring in a guy like Debo who looks like he's definitely in better shape than he was. Last year he looked like Debo Samuel ate Debo Samuel. Right now he's like, okay, he's definitely the workout videos. I'm buying it, but I just don't see him as anything more than just like a slot guy now. I think he's kind of I think it's run its course.
Yep. I agree. If anybody has any comments on this draft or if they have any questions or anything, feel free to post that in the chat there, and Howard and I will definitely be happy to talk about anything you want to ask, or if you have any comments or anything. We always enjoy the back and forth. We kind of started missing this draft after that Debo news drop, but you went AJ Brown. We talked about that a little bit, and then Tet McMillan in the 4th round. I'm a big Tet guy. What was your thought process with that pick? Was it a tough one? Did you have any other guys on your radar there with that pick?
No, really, it was not tough at all. Actually,
Okay.
it was quite easy for me to grab that. I was actually surprised because I've seen Tet McMillan now. I mean, granted, this is a 10-teamer here and it's mid-4th, but I've seen him come off the board as the in the 3rd round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to see the majority of the targets. They just lost Chris Brazel, which means that they're going to end up having to deal with Xavier Legette again. And, Legette's just, it's problematic because he tries to catch the ball with his body not
Yep.
with his hands. And Jalen Coker is still he's fine, but Ted McMillan is just, I mean, he's going to see all the targets. So it was really easy for me. I mean, that's people are like, what are you looking for in a wide receiver? And I'm like, you know what? Overall, I just want to see targets. Like we'll see in like the later rounds. When you're talking about guys who we'll talk about them as they come up. I don't want to just sit and name names, but while everybody's sitting there like fishing for all this mysterious upside and stuff like that, people are leaving a lot of target heavy wide receivers on the board just because they're not on good teams.
I agree. I agree with that. I don't get scared off by the team because there's still definitely room for production for a lot of these guys. You went Travion Henderson with round 5. So for me in a format like this, best ball, I feel much more comfortable with Henderson because I know he's going to disappear some weeks, most likely if Stevenson's still getting the RB1 type work, but Henderson can go off any given week. So is this a guy you kind of target in best ball formats?
I really don't have a lot of shares of Trevion Henderson, which is what, one of the things that I'm doing right now, and everybody knows who does like, tournaments. I mean, look at Chris's team name there at the end, right? BB 127. So this is his 127th best ball draft that he's done. Like that's just how they count. And, it's like,
Yep.
you never played cards with a guy whose first name is the same as a city. Right. You never date a girl who's got a dagger tattoo on her upper thigh.
See,
and you never get into a best ball draft with somebody who's like, got like a triple digit number next to their team name.
we were quoting the great Better Off Dead last week, and this week you got Teen Wolf and Coach. What's his name? Coach. I know it was Coach Feinstock. Finstock. That's it. He's great. I totally got your reference there, Howard.
And everything else is cream cheese.
Cream cheese. Oh man, it was underrated. Underrated that role in that movie for that whoever that actor was. All right. So after Travion, we got Bucky Irving, Bashal Tootin, Quinshon Judkins, T. Higgins, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Mike Evans, Jadarian Price. We've had only one QB off the board through 5 rounds. Again, I'll ask you since you've done these, is that kind of how it's been going for a lot of these best ball bender contests? Kind of waiting on the QB? Is that what happens a lot with these?
Yeah, what we're seeing is, it's Josh Allen in the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 2 rounds later, it's Lamar Jackson. Maybe a round after that, you'll see Drake May. You'll see somebody push up the value of Joe Burrow as well. But yeah, you start seeing like, it's Allen in the 3rd, Lamar, and maybe May 2 rounds later. I think people really start hitting the QB position like right around like rounds 8, 9, and 10. Just because, then you're sitting there at that point, that if you do a 3 quarterback best ball team build, then you're going to have to start attacking the position at some point. And, so that tends to be the area where we start seeing a lot of QBs. We'll probably see it again here.
All right. Jadarian Price, he just went off the board, and then Lamar Jackson and Ladd McConkey. Now, I am intrigued by Jadarian Price and what's going on in training camp with him. I'm kind of intrigued. It seems like they're kind of using him out wide as well as a receiver, so showing some 3-down ability. I'm starting to buy into a little of that hype now. What about you?
McConkey? I definitely buying into
Jadarian Price.
What's that?
Jadarian Price.
Oh, Jadarian Price. Jadarian Price. What'd you think of the news that Zach Charbonnet could, like week 1 is a possibility?
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
I'm not buying that either. But yeah, Emmanuel Wilson and George Halani, I'm kind of like, listen, I think that he's in a good situation in order to take that job, but I don't necessarily know if they want to give him that job right from the start. So I do worry. Like, if you're sitting here, and the running backs who are still on the board that Jadarian Price has now gone ahead of, who are they? They're all guys who are in timeshares, and you've got maybe like a small handful of them getting the lion's share of the winning end of the split. So Price is like, I think he's like right there at that spot where he does have the potential of getting a bigger workload. I think it's a shared backfield no matter what, though.
Okay. I was actually talking about this with someone the other day, and they were right. They brought up the point that it seems like you can get a lot more like cow running backs after the first two rounds than we have in past seasons. And I don't remember that in past years. Like Josh Jacobs went in round 5 here, Quinshon Judkins in round 5, David Montgomery. I know David Montgomery could split work, but I feel like there's a couple more, guys that don't have a ton of competition. You get later than you used to, and I guess that's kind of just the way it's playing out this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, well, because I mean, listen, we could tag every guy with warts, right? Josh Jacobs, people are still wondering about the legal trouble, right? They made it a point to say that the case was still open. Like it fell off the face of the earth for a little while, and
Yep.
then all of a sudden, like this past week, we started hearing again that the case is open. Trevion Henderson with Ramondre, Bucky Irving. Everybody's bullish on Kenneth Gainwell. Bashal Tutin. I like Bashal Tutin, but now all of a sudden they're saying Chris Rodriguez could be back for week 1. That he's received full clearance at training camp. Quinshon Judkins is coming off of a major injury. David Montgomery coming off of shared roles. So I think that like once you get past that round 4, like Cam Scatabo, maybe then and even Scatabo, you see a bunch of question marks. Same with Travis Etienne, Brees Hall.
What
Geez,
about?
Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. I guess Derrick Henry could be the last of them.
Yeah, that's true. What about Jeremiah Love? The stuff with Tyler Algier getting a lot of the first team snaps. Personally, I'm not buying that. You don't use that high of a pick on Love to throw Algier out there, but I don't know. Maybe they will early in the season, but I'm still pretty bullish on Love getting a ton of that work there. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense not to use him.
I mean, sadly,
You're,
sadly, Nathaniel Hackett, like he came out and he started, he was like, "Yeah, I'm really excited about this backfield. Very excited to see what James Conner can do." I'm like, "Really? You're singling out James Conner?" And then when they said, well, "What about Jeremiah Love?" He's like, "Well, he's playing. He's a rookie." And you're like, what you automatically like sabotaging that pick. I don't know what they do there. I mean, that's a crazy weird situation um, in that offense. Where am I going here? Oh goodness.
that's
What do I want? Do I want floor or do I want ceiling? I think I want ceiling.
You went Kyle Pitts in round 6, so that was your first tight end. You went with Kyle Pitts, and then you went Brian Thomas. So talk about you said you went ceiling. That's kind of the way I feel in a best ball format. I'll take more chances. Is that kind of how you approach it as well? Shooting for the moon a little more.
Yeah, I mean, like you're sitting there at some point because, I feel very, very comfortable with like the 3 running backs that I've got right now. And I'm sure that I'll like look at the running back. I mean, everybody went running back early on. Look at this. You've got,
Yeah.
Dogman who went 4 straight running backs. You've got Jason Brown who went 3 running backs in his first, 5 picks. You got 3 straight running backs for Sean at the end there. So I think that with the guys who are off the board, later rounds, man, I might like pick and choose out of a running back to grab. But I'm going to probably be playing a lot more wide receiver roulette. And that's kind of my MO for a best ball is take running backs early and then turn around and grab like a whole mess of wide receivers because we only start 2. Now, granted, it's flex positions instead of it's 2 flex instead of the instead of the tight end and the kicker and the defense.
Yep.
But I feel like I'm just going to draft enough wide receivers that somebody's going to hit.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to hit. Out of if I have 8 guys, 8 receivers, I can find at least 3 that'll do me right for each week.
Yep. For sure. That's kind of how this best ball strategy is. You just need one to hit. And I kind of like that way to approach it, Howard. We do have a question in the chat, and it's a good one. I guess we know your answer because you just picked him, and I don't think the other Jags receiver is gone yet. It's who is going to get the most work in the Jags receiver room? You thinking it's going to be Brian Thomas, or you think maybe Parker Washington, or I guess there's a chance still with uh,
Jacoby.
Jacoby Myers. My bad. Yeah. What do you think?
I think and I had this conversation with Mike Dempsey, who does Jags radio down in Jacksonville, and I asked him a very similar question there, and he said to me, from everything that he's heard and that he's seen so far, Brian Thomas Jr. will score the most get the most receiving touchdowns. Parker Washington will see the majority of targets, though. So I think what we're looking at here is, you'll get Parker Washington in that slot flanker role, and you'll have Brian Thomas, working through the big split end role. They might move him a little bit into the slot, which I think they should do, and kind of give him more targets. But I think that he's going to end up being more of that big play type guy. The best way that I can compare it, so that like people understand, it's like in Chicago you've got Luther Burden, who everybody's in on, and then you got Roma Dunze. And so to me, Brian Thomas and Roma Dunze are very similar in that sense, whereas you got Parker Washington and Luther Burden being the other guys on that front. So more targets, maybe good yardage, but is it going to be the touchdowns? I'll bank on BTJ.
Yeah. So if I was to answer that question, I'm kind of along the same line of thinking as you. I would say Washington leads those two in receptions, but I could see Thomas getting more yards and more touchdowns. So I actually think they could have very similar value by the time the season's over with. But in this format, I think Thomas would be the better pick. So I think he has more potential for that big game any given week, and I think Washington probably has a better floor. But who would have thought we'd be talking about Jacksonville receivers and having a lot of value after the last few years? But man, they've turned the corner a little bit, and Jacoby Myers is there, Brenton Strange as well. I kind of like him. Liam Cohn's doing a good job with that offense, coming around a little bit there in Jacksonville finally.
He is making me a little nervous with the way he drafted all those tight ends, right?
Yeah, he did.
He like in the second round he took that blocking tight end, and then like round 4 he took another pass catching tight end. That made me a little nervous. I just don't want to see him like fully adopt what we saw McVay do with the added tight end personnel, and doing like more 13 personnel kind of a situation.
And
so
they did that, and if I'm not mistaken, then they signed Brenton Strange to extension. It was after the draft, I thought they signed.
Yeah, after the draft, then that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's like, what are they, are we going to see 13, 14 personnel? We're going to see a lot of, kind of situations like that. Maybe some, I don't know, 10 personnel. Either way, the trend kind of, if you do something like that, you're going to see fewer 2 receiver sets, and that's something to monitor and keep an eye on, because that's what, obviously, you could run an empty backfield and just do a couple of tight ends there, but you're still only going to limit yourself, to 2, maybe 3 receivers, where more 2 receiver sets is what you're going to see. And you see that with like, Mike McDaniel's scheme, anybody who uses a fullback or the second tight end, they end up, that's what does it to you.
You have to wonder what that does to Travis Hunter, too. I know they already talked about him playing maybe less receiver, but you have to wonder how he's going to find the field if they adopt those principles as well. You went Isaiah Likely with your next pick. So you got 2 tight ends in the last 3 rounds. You go with Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, again, it's, who's going to have an impact in tight end premium. And if we look at what they're going to, what kind of offense Matt Nagy with Brian Callahan and John Harbaugh, like everything that they're kind of putting together over there, you got to replace 140 targets in Wan'Dale Robinson. And I mean, where are you going to tuck those targets? So I genuinely believe that Isaiah Likely becomes that like lean on him during the when you need a third, when you need the first down, when you need to move the chains. I think he's going to be the guy who's going to turn out to be like a crutch basically for Jackson Dart. You'll still get Malik Neighbors getting like 10 or 11 targets from the wide receiver position, but I think Isaiah Likely could be the second, at worst, the third most targeted pass catcher on that squad.
Now, the Malik Neighbors video was intriguing for me to see because I was kind of wanting to see how he was looking, and he looked pretty dang good. So I know we already kind of touched on him a little bit and how his price tag was pretty good the last couple weeks, but I'm not sure it's going to be so good, so cheap anymore going forward. It looks like he's going to be in pretty good shape for week 1 at least.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, it was great when he was like falling down into like the 4th round of drafts. He's getting scooped back up there. But I mean, I hope that for every player, right? Every player they say maybe back for week 1, right? Mahomes, Malik Neighbors, Zach Sharp. I hope they do. I really do, because I would rather just see good, healthy ball players out there playing the game. I don't need to see a bunch of backups because these guys are all hurt. Do you want to see who's the backup in Kansas City? Who's behind Mahomes?
Justin Fields, the great Justin Fields.
Do we really want to see that? Ugh.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Nobody.
It's crazy to me though. Like Daniel Jones, like he's cleared to go. I always thought an Achilles injury was like, you're out for the year, you're done. And now they're coming back sooner than ever with this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Your picks up.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing like the different types of surgeries, right? We see the tightrope surgery for guys who, suffer the high ankle sprain or the fracture. I mean, listen, medicine's always going to get better.
It's true.
It's always going to get better. What do I do? I'm going to take a quarterback here. Do I pair up Trevor Lawrence with our good friend Brian Thomas Jr., or do I just take Justin Herbert, who I love and adore in this format?
I don't think you go wrong with either player.
I know. I have a lot of Trevor Lawrence, so I'll just take Justin Herbert here. I'll instead of stacking Jaguars, there it is. I'll just lean on Herbie.
There you go. We have a couple teams already. That's the Fozzie dog. He went heavy on QB. He has 3 already. He has Josh Allen, Drake May, and Caleb Williams. So he's all in on the QBs. There's not another team with 2 if I'm looking at it right.
What are you doing, Fozzie?
Yeah, Fozzie's trying to screw everybody else up, I think.
Going bully QB.
There you
Always
go.
good. Is Fozzie in the chat? Fozzie's usually in the chat.
Yeah, he was talking a little earlier, and he didn't say a whole lot.
Oh, okay. Up, pull in front. That's I think that's Brent Campbell. What's up, Brent? Oh, the job 2000. That's Jason Brown right in there.
I do like the idea of us being part of an auction. That those are always a lot of fun. They take a while though. That's the only thing. But you don't see a lot of people streaming auctions, so it could be kind of it's so hard to keep up with all that though when you're doing an auction draft. That would be the only negative with that. But I like that idea.
I wouldn't be able to broadcast and auction at the same time. That would be insane. But I mean, listen, I've called a number of auctions, a lot of baseball auctions, for like Tout Wars and Labor. I've done the broadcasting for those. It is a ton of fun.
It is,
right? Especially if you can like set it so that like the audience can hear what's going on in the room also.
Yep. Auctions are a lot of fun. Different way to draft. QBs are flying off the board now. Caleb Williams, you took Justin Herbert, then Trevor Lawrence, and Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Jackson Dart. So it looks like everyone has a QB except for Dogman 12.
Yeah.
Everybody else does.
What I tell you, man, look at that. It started at the tail end of round 8.
Yep.
And all of round 9. There's the QB run.
There you go. It helps the draft. It's good to be an educated drafter like that, so you know when no one's stuff's going to go. So it definitely helps you come draft day. And another QB goes Baker Mayfield. So Jackson Dart, Baker Mayfield. I like that from Krish. He always does a good job there. Do you know him personally, or is he just a guy that gets in a lot of your drafts?
Who, Krish?
Chris, yeah, he does a
I
good.
think Krish is he's your guys, man. He's
Oh, he's
he's an
our guy.
RT Sports guy.
Okay, my bad. I thought it always seems like he's in drafts with you. Maybe he's just following us around a
He's
little
probably like, I just like doing drafts with Bender because Bender broadcasting and drafting means that I'm going to beat him in this league.
bit. He might, but he's built a good team. He's got Omarion Hampton, then Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, Tyler Warren, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Christian Watson, Harold Fannin, then Jackson Dart and Baker Mayfield. So, Howard, your picks coming up here in a second. Maybe just talk briefly. We've kind of talked about it a little bit, but the difference for you when it comes to drafting a best ball format compared to like the FLC like we did last week. What's some of the maybe different strategies you go with?
I mean, for me, it's I'm looking for the upside,
Okay.
right? I mean, I'm looking for ceiling well above anything else, right? I mean, it's kind of what I'm hoping for. If I'm doing a league like like the FLC, I'll love taking guys like Wandell Robinson or um, even a guy like Jaden Reed. I'll take these guys who have a good high floor as opposed to the high ceiling. Oh, it's me.
Your picks
It's me.
your picks up now. This round's gone Baker Mayfield, Michael Wilson, Travis Kelsey, Rico Dowdle, Rashad White, and now you are on the clock. You could go numerous ways here, Howard. You got all sorts of options to go with.
I
Okay.
really do, and I love it. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick with the wide receiver here. I'm going to grab myself a little Makai Lemon.
Okay.
Right? I mean, listen, is he not supposed to be the number 2 target in Philly now?
Should be. Looks like it.
So yeah, I want that. Like, again, like, all right, so I did the Sirius XM host draft today,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed to like fill in my wide receiver room. And I looked for big targets. I looked for high floor. Um, there was just no way to like to really want to play the upside game in there because I don't want to have to deal with like a bunch of boomer bust wide receivers and then pick like 2 of them to start for me each week, right? Like that to me is, problematic. I want guys like, in this one here, I'm expecting AJ Brown and Tedero McMillan to just be my 2 wide receivers week in, week out. But, like you throw in a guy like Brian Thomas who could really pop off for, 3, 4, 5 games. He's not going to pop off for every single one of them, but, can he surpass one of those top 2 guys? A number of times this season? Yes, he could. And that's really what I'm looking for in best ball. I would rather just have like a nice stable core of guys and then just fish for upside constantly. Oh, Fozzie grabbing Kenneth Gainwell.
I was going to ask you about a team Kenneth Gainwell just came from, and because I don't think we've touched on it yet. Rico Dowdle went a couple picks before your Makai Lemon pick. What do you think about the backfield in Pittsburgh? How do you think that's going to shake out? Do you want either of those guys? Do you have any faith in any of them?
I think it's gonna. I think Rico Dowdle is going to be. I mean, he's Mike McCarthy's guy. McCarthy brought him in. McCarthy had him in Dallas. He likes him. He likes him a lot. Jalen Warren is a pass catching running back, and I think they're going to probably utilize him in exactly that same fashion. I think that they're going to utilize Warren, as that third down guy while Dowdle gets the early down look. He gets the between the tackles look. And the problem for me is that when you get to that point, now granted, you got Aaron Rodgers who leads the NFL in 1-yard touchdown passes, but McCarthy likes to run the ball when he's like down there at the goal line, and that's going to kind of spill into Rico Dowdle as opposed to the other fella. Ah, man. See, all my picks just came off the board here, Jeff.
Mahomes just went, and then Stafford went in this round as well. QB, Blake Corum, Alec Pierce, and now you're trying to figure out what to do with your 11th round pick after taking Makai Lemon in the last round.
Yeah, I'm just going to take Kyler Murray here.
Okay.
Grab myself my second quarterback. He's got, Justin Herbert should be my main guy. But, Kyler Murray, he's got that rushing upside. He'll have Justin Jefferson. I don't expect him to like suddenly turn around and be the be all end all, but I do expect him to do enough to hold off JJ McCarthy and just kind of pick up that rushing yardage for me here in the in the mid part of the season.
Yeah, I can't see JJ McCarthy winning this job at all, personally. I don't. I know they say,
Nobody can.
yeah, I can't. I don't see that happening. So you don't have to give away your total strategy here, though. But will you take three QBs normally in a format like this and three tight ends, or do you mix it up a little bit?
Yeah, no, I like to take 3 and 3.
Okay.
It makes it, it just gives me enough options. It's kind of a standard build. You go 3 and 3, and then it's anywhere from like roughly like 5 running backs and 9 wide receivers, or maybe 6 running backs and 8 wide receivers.
Okay.
Kind of the way the build tends to spill out there. I do like having the third option though at tight end and quarterback. Although I'll tell you what, with Pitts and Likely, being high floor guys who could see a number of targets on their teams, I might not even need the third tight end here.
Yeah. You ever see four tight ends go in your tight end premium one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. That's again, people who missed out on the early tight ends. They'll take like 3 or 4 guys, in that like
I got.
mid-tier range, the unimpressive mid-tier.
Yep. So we just had after your Kyler Murray pick, we had Jared Goff, Josh Downs, Mark Andrews, DK Metcalf, Kyle Monangai. All these quarterbacks though that go around this, they all have similar value. I could see him, outproducing, the last guy, Jared Goff. I could see him end up with more points than Bo Nix. It's kind of crazy. There's a lot of value at that QB spot after those elite guys are gone. There's a lot of guys I feel like could put up some big numbers this year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's we've always known it, right? I mean, that's always been
Yeah.
like the way of fantasy, right? Is that the QB position is always deep. But I mean, it really is true. I mean, if you look at all the QBs who are off the board right now, and then you're still looking at, guys who can air it out. Tyler Shuck, Jordan Love, Sam Darnold, CJ Stroud. I mean, there's still a number of QBs out there that, you're going to be able to get. And so it doesn't, that's why I don't think that, I don't think you're necessarily getting as much of an advantage by taking that early round QB. I think that, I'd rather have the value and try my luck on a few of them.
Especially in a best ball format where it's going to give you the highest score any given week. I think it just makes more sense to wait on a QB. We were talking about this before we came on the stream. You've been in a lot of drafts already. What kind of trends for this year are you seeing? Anything standing out? Anything really different? I know we've had some fads in past years with zero running back and you name it. But is there anything you're seeing this year that is different compared to the last few years?
I mean, yeah, I just think that a lot more people are going back to the running back spot. What we've seen is, I mean, when you and I were playing fantasy at when we and I were playing fantasy at the turn of the century here, Jeffrey, we were seeing a lot of bell cow backs. We were seeing a lot of LaDainian Tomlinsons, Terrell Davises, Sean Alexander's, guys who could just win the league outright for you in one fell swoop. Let me just
Your picks up now.
let me just get a little guy here. How about let's do a little Krusky Merritt. We'll see what happens with him and the rest of the backfield there in Washington. But I think what we're starting to see is that drift back into it, right? Like before, I mean, tight end, not tight end, zero RB was probably at its height in 2023 and 2024.
Yep.
And it's no mystery that kind of coincided with, you saw a lot of, wide receiver heavy builds, a lot of zero RB strategies on winning teams. And it's not just the tournaments on RTSports. It was other tournaments as well in the space that I think that, that's why we did that study. How much of a how much of a reaction to last year's winner are we seeing here? Like, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So it's we're at the grab the running backs early type of a situation, and we're definitely in a spot where we're all just pushing down quarterback more and more in order to get those extra wide receivers in there, as opposed to once the running backs dry up.
Yeah, and we saw last year too, the early receivers, a lot of them busted out. So I think that's playing an impact as well, with a lot of the running backs going early. And I don't know when you started playing fantasy, but when I started playing, even QBs were flying off the board in the first round for the most part because I was in leagues where they didn't even have yardage bonuses. That's how long ago I played. And so we would do our newsletter on a word processor and hand deliver them to everybody in the league. Those are the days now.
Do you remember graph paper?
Oh yeah, graph paper.
Graph paper was always the best. We used to do all of our stats by hand, and
Yep,
like create these like booklets, right, on graph paper, and we would like like what the folder that you put your term paper in,
yep.
we would pass around like a weekly, so everybody would read it on
Okay.
on Tuesday. It would get passed around the school as
You'd
we
have,
were doing it.
you'd have
So
to you'd have to wait for the paper to come out the next day to get all the stats too. It
yeah,
wasn't.
you have to. Well, you tabulate everything. You get that Monday box score,
Yep.
right, from the Sunday action, and then you get the then you can track the Monday, because there was only one Monday Night Football,
Yeah.
so you could actually track those
That's true.
stats and just box score total it yourself, for the Monday night game. And yeah, so I haven't thought about those reports in ages. I
Oh
might
man,
have to start doing something like that for people.
we should. Your pick's up again. I actually have while you're making that pick, one of my brothers is in a league that we've been in forever, and he's kind of for lack of a better term, a hoarder, I guess. But he kept all our old stuff, so he has like all our old newsletters and stuff. And
Oh, I love
he always,
that.
he always brings it to the draft every year, and we all have to page through it. But that's my favorite league still. I'm in one I was in when I was in college, so I think it started in like '97, and we had to add a second base to the trophy, so it's like the Stanley Cup, and that's how many years we've done it. Still my favorite league. So, everybody needs a league like that.
Oh, absolutely. I gotta like that's one of the things I'm trying to get together. I need a home league up here in Alaska now,
Oh,
right? I
yep,
don't have a home league anymore, or like to do the live draft. So
that's
I'm
true.
still working on that. If you're watching here on the YouTube channel and you live in the Juneau area,
Howard needs a home league. Come on, help him out. There's nothing.
right, give me a follow on social media. Email me at rotobuzzguy@gmail.com. Something. I need to put a home league together.
Nothing better than an in-person draft.
I just said, maybe how awesome are in-person drafts? Real
I,
drafts like that are just, they're so much fun. They really are.
yep. I do one. I host it usually at my house, and I'm a huge barbecue guy. I love to like smoke meat, ribs, and brisket and all that. I do it every year, and it's always my one of my favorite days of the year, and I'm looking forward to it already. Those are the best, though. We've had
Yeah, once I solidify the group of people, then I can figure out putting the spread together
there you
for food and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I mean, it's going to mean drafting like in the garage,
go.
right in the driveway or something like that, depending on what the weather's like.
Yeah, there you go. We had a slew of tight ends going right now, though, Howard. Round 13, Chigakonku, George Kittle, Jawan Johnson, Jake Ferguson, and Brenton Strange. So half the picks were tight ends at in that round, kind of flying off the board. There are a lot of guys that have some decent ceilings, though, like Dalton Kincaid went in round 12. I like Chigakonku a lot. I know you do also. We talked about Brenton Strange a little bit, but teams are really loading up in the tight ends right now at this point in the draft.
Yeah, and it's listen, it's that's great. I love seeing that, because that means that a ton of guys are going to be available to me in these rounds, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you, you get a guy like Jake Ferguson, who it doesn't move the needle all that much. He's a good red zone target, right? right? But he's always going to be behind. The only time he has like legitimate value is if CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens gets hurt.
Yep.
Right. Even then, you're still losing work to Ryan Flournoy. So, if I'm looking at Jake Ferguson versus Michael Pittman in this draft, or Juwan Johnson over Michael Pittman, I'd rather take Pittman and see what the possibilities are in this fashion.
I'm kind of intrigued. You just took Pittman, and you can talk on him a little more as well. But I'm kind of anxious to see how he pairs with Aaron Rodgers a little bit, because he always tries to get his guy, and I wonder if he could end up being that safety net for him. I'm guessing you're hoping that plays out that way as well.
I definitely am. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, again, Pittman is a good move the chains type of guy, and Metcalf should be the big explosive player. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, are undervaluing both Metcalf and Pittman because of Aaron Rodgers, and I to a certain extent, sure. But why are you taking Casey Concepcion? I love you, Pete. But why are you taking Casey Concepcion ahead of Michael Pittman or Quentin Johnston? Like, what is it about that Cleveland offense or that Cleveland, quarterback situation that makes you want to do that? There's none of it for me.
That's true. And you look at the receivers that went in that round, Jalen Coker as well, Quentin Johnston, Pittman, KC Concepcion, I mean, Romeo Dobbs, the previous round, Jaden Reed, and Jacoby Myers. I'm kind of like you. I think Pittman might be the best option of all those guys at that point of the draft.
I think so.
Jordan Addison getting some buzz too a little bit. I mean, I guess it really just depends on what happens to Kyler Murray, how he plays. If Addison's a talented player, he could end up being a good pick at that point of the draft in round 14. Wondering how he does this year with a new QB at his side.
A new QB, and you got Jawan Jennings who comes into town also.
Yep.
That's going to be a very interesting scenario. Let's see. Considering that I know a lot of these guys in here and they know a lot of me, I'm going to exercise my right to build a 3 tight end build and reach probably a couple rounds here and grab myself a little Greg Dulcich.
Tight end, I mean, league. It's not really much of a reach.
In the 14th, you don't think so?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
All right. Okay. I mean, listen, he could end up being the number 1 target on that team. It's like him and Malik Washington. Who's going to be, who's going to see the majority of targets? Now, I'm not saying that these are going to be great targets, because Malik Willis sucks at throwing the football. But if you're sitting there and you're looking, you're like, I need a wide receiver, I need a tight end. If you're telling me that one of these two guys is going to be the number 1 pass catcher on this team, that's a guy I want to be invested in.
And then Evan Ingram goes right after him. Man, remember last year, I know I was, and I think you were too. We were kind of all over him, and he did not.
He's supposed to play the Joker role.
He did not pan out.
He was a Joker, all right.
Yeah, he was. So this year, he's probably going to have a big year.
Nah. I mean, what do they got over there? I mean, you got Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton. I would love to see Ingram step up and do a little bit more, but they really, I mean, Davis Webb is going to he's installing the old air raid offense in there, and Davis Webb just wants to, huck it and chuck it all over the place here, I think. So yeah, I think Peyton will rein him in a little bit, but
yeah, I feel like we're undervaluing Cortland Sutton at times a little bit. I know Jalen Waddle's there now, but man, you can get Sutton really cheap. He went round 10 in this draft. I wonder if we're sleeping on him a little bit.
We might be. I mean, he's not going to change off of being the X receiver. I was so bullish on Cortland Sutton as the X receiver when it was Joe Lombardi, because they would just funnel targets his way.
Yeah.
I don't see that being the truly the case right now. If Waddle's going to be that slot flanker type guy, because what Davis Webb also wants to do is he wants to speed everything up. He wants to work an up tempo offense, and he wants Bo Nix throwing on the run. He wants that kind of a feel for it, and I think that kind of favors Waddle in the shorter passing game than really trying to let what's his face Sutton run his routes, like complete his routes.
I gotcha. It makes sense. Let's see who just went here. We had, after your Dulcich pick, I mentioned Evan Ingram, then Chris Rodriguez, Hunter Henry, another tight end, Jerry Jeudy, Brian Robinson, Khalil Shakir, Cam Ward. Jerry Jeudy, anything left in the tank for him? Do you think he has any chance to rebound at all this year with two rookie receivers he's kind of competing with for targets now? Do you have any hope in Jerry Jeudy, Howard?
I do. I mean, Andrew Berry, their GM, after the draft, turned around and said Jerry Jeudy's targets are going to be unaffected. Like he said, we made these pickups of Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston, and Concepcion is going to work with the slot, and Denzel Boston can be that, that field stretching guy downfield. I think that they still want to give plenty of targets to Jeudy and to Fannin. So I think I'm okay with it.
All right. Your picks up too, Howard. We had Brian Robinson go start round 15, then Khalil Shakir, Cam Ward, Jonah Coleman, and now you are on the clock here, and you go Sam Darnold, Super Bowl champion Sam Darnold in round 15.
Right? No respect.
No respect at all.
The Rodney Dangerfield of QBs. I mean, listen, I get it. You're changing the offense here, and you're not going to have Kubiak's blocking system in there, but I think it's still Darnold to JSN.
Yep.
Still as an elite level target, elite level wide receiver there.
I like Darnold too to pair with your Kyler Murray pick, because I feel like Darnold's pretty safe. A little option there at QB. Murray carries maybe a tad risk because he's been not very good the last couple of years, and they say he's still competing with McCarthy. So I think Darnold's a good yin and yang pick, like you like to say.
Yeah, buddy, look at you.
I listen to you, Howard. I listen to you.
Jeff Power, everybody. Jeff Power.
Aaron Jones goes round 15. Man, he's fallen too. He is 32. Or 32.
Yeah, he's 32. He's got a lot of mileage on him. It's a tough spot to be.
It is.
It's a tough spot to be. For how long, how many years was Aaron Jones just fantastic as your running back in Green Bay?
Super steady.
Right? Do you remember? Remember it was like Quadzilla was going to take his job from him? That never happened.
Never happened. Rashid Shaheed went right after Sam Darnold. You're hearing that he's been a little more involved offensively. He was really kind of a disappointment when he got traded to Seattle about halfway through last year. I'm wondering what happens to him this year. Do you think he can get it going? Do you think he can be a bigger factor in that offense?
I hope so. I'd like to see them open up his route tree a little bit more, and just not limit him. Don't pigeonhole him into being the deep threat. Like that's the problem, is that you need somebody, you need a wide receiver coach and or offensive coordinator who really can like open things up for him a little bit more. Because if you pigeonhole him into being, what he was in New Orleans, and that's kind of what I thought ended up happening, was that they didn't utilize him in any other way than being a deep threat. And that's just, why do I need a one-dimensional wide receiver like that? If I wanted that, I'll draft Devontae Walker.
Yeah, and then when he's on the field, you know what's going to happen too. Like,
yeah, this guy's going long. Cover him.
Exactly. He's running a go route. And then Alvin Kamara went a couple picks ago here in round 16. It seemed like they were going to cut him and he wasn't even going to be on the team. Now they're saying he's splitting the work right now at running back RB1. Again, another situation I'm not really buying. You think Kamara is going to play a big role?
I don't think he's going to play a big role. I think he's just, I mean, they let him take a pay cut in order to stay in New Orleans. So, I think they're going to try and get Etienne to be the lead back in here, and maybe Kamara does some, side hustle stuff. Again, the big problem is that you've got this room of running backs. Well, you've got, Kamara and what's his face? Kamara and Etienne as like, the primary backs. They're not between the tackles type guys. And you know me, man, I'm always the first one to point out that Kellen Moore doesn't like to throw to his running backs.
Yep. You're right. They have Devin Neal there as well. It's the other back.
Isn't Audric Estime over there also?
Kendra Miller, I guess, is in the mix.
Kendra Miller, that dude's trash.
Every year he's going to break out, every year.
Yeah, well, in hives and then sit.
You went Jalen Naylor. You talked about this earlier, and you said you're looking at guys that could rack up the targets, and Naylor could be a target guy there in Las Vegas.
Everybody in Las Vegas keeps saying they've got full confidence in their wide receiver room, that they don't need to look at a Brandon Ayuk or a Stephon Diggs, and Naylor's got 2 years of experience with Kirk Cousins also. So I like that. That's why I thought that Diggs might go over there, because Diggs and Cousins have a real, they played together for 2 years also.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see where Diggs ends up. I'm still thinking Washington just seems like a really good fit, but
yeah,
I guess we'll know sooner than later, you would think.
One would think. I think, listen, you're seeing a bunch of stuff, right? Debo signs when Pearsall goes down. I think we could be seeing that if something happens. I mean, imagine if anything happened to like Antonio Williams from Washington. They would have to go out and sign Stephon Diggs immediately. Oh, Diggs off the board there.
There he is.
To the fantasy prosecutor.
We talked it into existence.
Counselor.
Is he a real prosecutor? He is a
real prosecutor, actually.
Okay, nice.
I believe he practices in the great state of Illinois.
Oh, right next to me. All right, he has Stephon Diggs, and he went Tank Dell. I like Tank Dell in a best ball format. I think he's kind of a risky pick in a overall type of contest, but best ball one, give me some Tank Dell. He could break out and have a couple big games.
He really could. I mean, yeah, that's what I love about the fantasy prosecutors. His attack here at the tail end, right? Romeo Doubs likely to be a kind of a lean for Drake May, maybe move the chains type guy there. So you should see some targets. Chigakonkwo's got a great ceiling, especially if they don't bring anybody in. Judy's going to see his targets. Diggs is, has like crazy shoot the moon, upside, and so does Tank Dell. So I think that's it's an ideal way to draft, especially if you go running back heavy early.
He has a good build there. I'm trying to look at some of these teams, seeing all these different builds now. Since we're getting close to the end here, seeing what I like, what I don't like. I like that team that picked eighth. Robert Voitko. I like what he did. I mean, he attacked receiver. He went 0 running back for the first 4 rounds, and then he loaded up on some options there. Waited on QB a little bit as well, but he still got some high ceiling guys with Dak Prescott.
Oh, it's my pick.
Oh, you only got 30 seconds left too. Yeah, a lot of different builds going on here.
Juwan Jennings.
Dogman went 9 running backs and receivers to start his draft. 4 straight running backs and then 5 receivers. Interesting.
Yeah. Definitely a lot of different builds here than what I'm used to seeing. I mean, it's kind of funny. You look at from 6, 7, and 8, right? I mean, you had through the first 3 rounds, everybody had 2 wide receivers. One has a 4th wide receiver, and the other 2 both have the tight ends.
Yep.
So it's all, like sitting there waiting on, on the running back position. And I tell you what, David Roberts grabbing Henry and Tootin, really can't argue with that. Kyron I love, but Bucky I'm a little lukewarm on.
What was the? I didn't look. Probably should know, but what was the winning roster like last year in the best beat bender format? Was it? Did he go early on a tight end, or did he kind of wait and load up on him later?
I think he waited and loaded up later. I think he
Okay.
went heavy into the running backs and wide receivers for the first several rounds.
Okay. Always interested to see how it plays out with those winning teams. David Njoku just went. Rondé Gadsden went around 16, so two of the Chargers receivers there. Debo Samuel went. There you go. Pete Doggett took him in round 17, fourth pick. So Debo right there. We got to update his team. It says Washington. I'm going to go do that right now.
Ooh, look at that. Behind the scenes action here.
Oh, it actually does say San Francisco already. It just hasn't updated yet.
On the draft board?
It hasn't yet. It hasn't updated on our site yet. It probably just changed over and takes a second. Sean Tucker, Justice Hill, seen some pass catching backs. Emmett Johnson as well. So what late round picks here? And you're getting to the end here, Howard. What are you going for? What's your strategy here?
I mean, right now it's definitely just going to be shooting for as much upside as I can get. You kind of want to look at certain guys and grab them. Like if you're looking for wide receivers, guys like, and oh man, I don't want to give the names away here, but
you don't have to give them away. You don't.
But I will. What you're looking for here is guys who have a path to targets if there's going to be an injury.
Okay.
Right? Like you look at I'll throw it in here just for the fun of it. But you look at like Jeremy Bernard from Pittsburgh, right? If Pittman or Metcalf gets hurt, Bernard's going to see a serious uptick in targets. Isaac Tesla of Detroit. You look at that dude and you say, all right, well, if Jameson Williams or Amon-Ra St. Brown gets hurt, what kind of a role was he going to get? So, you look for guys, this late who are maybe one injury away from seeing a nice targets or touches increase. From the running back position, there's not a whole lot out there. I mean, Tajay Spears playing behind Tony Pollard.
Yeah. They're saying
that might be Dylan Sampson if you don't believe that that Quinshon Judkins is fully healthy. I think that's an interesting spot.
Take some dart throws on some receivers in Las Vegas and Miami, situations where we don't really know what's going on with a lot of those receivers, and somebody's got to emerge, I guess. I guess the same way in San Francisco. Well, Debo signed, but still, I think you could take some chances on some San Francisco receivers as well. So you go that route too. Yeah, Tajay Spears, he always kind of intrigues me because such a big play threat. I think I like him a little bit in this best ball format. I think he could be intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love him, but you know, and that's just kind of what are you up looking for? And because I mean, listen, I've got 4 running backs here, and you look at the running back position, and it's terrible.
It is.
It's really terrible. Like, I mean, who are you gonna grab here and think that maybe they're gonna do something, or do you? I don't really like to handcuff in a best ball format.
That's what I was going to ask you if you like to do that strategy at all. You're right. Yeah, you just want to go for the guy you think could end up getting the most points. That's what makes sense.
Like this pick here.
Here you go.
This pick here. How about this one here?
Let's see it.
Kalen Black.
Kalen Black. There we go. Yeah.
I mean, Jordan James dealing with a rib fracture. Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey.
What's going on in San Francisco? Why is everybody hurt all the time out there? That place is crazy. I mean, the coach is even hurt. Getting an accident.
It really is crazy. It really is. I think. I mean, I don't exactly why. I have no idea, but
Didn't Christian McCaffrey say something about the power lines or something at one time?
Oh yeah, that was somebody said something about the power lines being too close to the practice field.
Yeah.
That the electromagnetic waves were like affecting players.
Yeah, they are definitely bitten by the injury bug often. That was been an issue the last several years. Man. So Keelan Black goes, you Isaac Tesla, you just talked about him. Denzel Boston, I like him as a late round dart throw a little bit. Dylan Sampson, you just talked about. Trey Tucker, there you go. One of those Vegas receivers off the board. Tyler Algier goes all the way in round 19. I guess uh, this draft room was not buying the hype on him, splitting times with the RB1s. But Tyler Algier, round 19. Omar Cooper from your Jets. He goes now. Another dart throw a little bit. Guy could start, though. Why not, right?
Yeah, that is well within the range of outcomes.
Yes. There could be a lot of outcomes. You're right. Uh, I guess I don't even know who the next great quarterback coming is. Arch Manning coming out in the draft this after.
I think so. I
Okay,
think so.
that'll be the Jets new quarterback when they get pick number one, right?
I mean, when you sit there and you like, I mean, they should, but I mean, listen, the Jets. The Jets are going to do as much as they can to screw this up, right? Like you've got all of this. They've got 3 first-round draft picks. So you kind of figure, you know what? If you tank it, make sure that you get the first pick overall. You take your quarterback in Arch Manning, right? You've already hired a new coaching staff to kind of, sort you through it all.
Your picks up again here.
Oh,
Adonai Mitchell went another Jet, so two straight Jets off the board, and then Nick Singleton, and now you're up.
all right. Well, then how about, well, here's an upside possibility here.
Demond Claiborne.
Damon Claiborne, right? I mean, listen, Aaron Jones is made out of glass, and they don't throw the football to Jordan Mason.
Yep.
So maybe once Aaron Jones kind of, parks it on the side of on the road for a little while, that maybe Damon Claiborne can get a little extra work in.
I have a lot of shares of Claiborne in my best ball leagues. It's a guy I'm taking some chances on late, just like you did there. I agree. For all those reasons you mentioned, why not?
Nice.
Dalton Schultz went, Bryce Young, and I'm trying to see if there's any intriguing picks here delayed. Travis Hunter, don't mind that. I mean, in a best ball format. Eli Stowers, too, another one I've kind of been taking some chances on as a third tight end, especially if I get a good one early, because I think Stowers is going to be involved. They're not going to use that high draft pick on him and not really use him as a rookie. I think he'll emerge later in the year for Philadelphia.
It's possible. It's
Possible.
possible. I mean, I mean, Goddard is Goddard.
Yeah.
Something really exciting about it. I could see Eli Stowers having a go at it. Maybe not early in the season, but definitely in the later part of the season.
I think Goddard had 11 touchdowns last year. In the previous three before that, he had 7. So I really think that maybe those TD numbers were maybe a tad inflated. So I'm thinking a little bit of a regression might be coming from him.
It's very possible. Very possible. Wow, where to go? Oh, you know what? I know who exactly I'm going to take for my last pick. I'm going to tuck him into my queue right now.
You don't think
And I don't think that this is anybody that anyone's targeting right now.
All right. You got some of your regulars there on the draft though, Howard. You never know. They could take one of your guys if you talk to them.
You know what? I don't even think they're onto this guy yet. This guy is
Okay.
he was just kind of put on our radar.
I got an idea. I'm not going to say it, but I got an idea.
Oh yeah?
Let me see if I can text it to you and see if I'm right.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, I can't. Your pick's coming up. We're gonna do this right here. Let's see if I'm right, guys.
I don't know. Oh no! I mean, this is a really deep dive.
Here we go. Am I right?
What'd you do?
I texted you who I thought it was.
Did you? Let me see. Oh my God! It is.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. The funny thing is, I just moved him up the rankings before I came down here to do the show with you too.
Oh my God! That's hysterical.
Let's see if
That
anybody
is
else thinks.
absolutely hysterical. Jeff Power, get out of my head.
So we're in the last round here. Howard and I have been doing these live streams here throughout the off season. We're gonna do them every week now until the start of the year. So you want to get in one. We'll probably do maybe a fantasy life championship again next week. Get
Nice.
back into one of those. Those are always a lot of fun. But we really enjoy doing these, and hopefully you guys can get a lot out of it as well by watching us. But if you want to get into one, go to rtsports.com, and we usually put it out on the X when we're gonna do one, and we'll put the draft up there as well. So follow Howard and I to try to get in one, and you can be on here. And I always forget to do this. I need to put the link that people can join and get on the stream with us as well and talk to us. So I need to do that next week. It's always good to talk to the drafters as well. Got some
I
good.
like it. I like it. I'll tell you what, man. I'm looking at the chat right now, man. What's Jason Brown chiming in about? He's like, I got a Howard really. I guess I've been sniping him. He keeps saying that I'm sniping him on his picks.
There you go. So
I'm so excited to make this pick now. I'm so excited. And you know what? Because you're gonna introduce the guy. You're gonna tell everybody who he is and why I want him, why I'm taking him this round. Well, I mean, it's the last round. It's my last pick, but
it is your last pick. We'll see if hopefully he's there for you. We've got Chris Fry, the last
Chris
pick.
Fry, you think Chris Fry's gonna take him?
I don't know.
Not after those last couple of picks, man. Stowers, Travis Hunter.
He's going running back. That's my call.
There we go. Oh, he carries his shit ass up the mountain to the Malachi Fields.
In Howard's pick, he is going to take the great Chiefs receiver, Cyrus Allen. Getting a lot of preseason buzz, working with the ones already, and seems like they have faith in him in Kansas City right now. So who knows? He could end up playing a role.
I mean, they keep trying to get one of these like smaller receivers because he's like 5'11", right? And he's got good speed, but like they keep missing on that, right? It was like Sky Moore was a bust. Xavier Worthy hasn't really, come to fruition for them. So, I think they keep trying to get this like, small, speedy guy. I think it's perpetually trying to find the next Tyreek Hill.
Yep. They've been missing him. They could go sign him. They could.
Oh, God, what a nightmare that would be.
It doesn't sound like he's in too good a shape right now. He didn't even go in this draft, did he? I've not seen him play.
No.
Yeah,
These people aren't crazy.
All right, last pick left, Howard. Again, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it. The draft too. Everybody saw it. This took an hour and 15 minutes, so you can get in one of these, knock it out. They're a lot of fun. It's just $20 to get in for a chance to win $20,000. It's just a great tool to use if you're getting ready for your home leagues as well. We were talking about those a little bit too, so highly suggest doing it. So fun stuff, Howard. Appreciate it. You happy with the way your team turned out? Everything goes according to plan for Howard Bender.
It kind of did, right? 3 QBs. 3 tight ends. I'm loaded up at receiver, and I've got good stability at the running back spot with a couple of upside picks late in the game. So, yeah, this actually went very much the way I wanted it to.
Nice. This is your favorite team from the Howard Bender best ball format.
I don't know about that.
You know about that. You
I don't know about that. I've got a couple of ones from the slow drafts that were like,
Oh, gotcha. Nice. All right. Well, good stuff. Again, if you want to get in the league, go to rtsports.com. Click on that Money League link. You can sign up for all our different options. Hopefully, you get in one of these and compete against Howard. get on the stream as well. So Howard, thanks again for joining me. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody out there for watching and participating in the chat. We really appreciate it. Hope you have a great evening. See you later.